Isn't it weird that leftists are so bewildered by a president who actually loves his country, who actually thinks America is the greatest country on earth? And we've got a president who now he wants to beef up the usual 4th of July festivities in D.C., and they're totally befuddled by it. What? He doesn't despise America? He wants a ceremony honoring America on Independence Day of all dates? What a dictator.
What is the message Donald Trump is trying to send by rolling tanks down Constitution Avenue? Who is that message to? It's certainly not to tyrants, because he likes tyrants. He loves tyrants. The message is a threat. But it's always a threat when you roll out your military. But it's to whom is the threat? And I suspect that the threat is to his fellow Americans.
Is she psychotic? Yes. Trump derangement syndrome counts as psychosis. He's threatening Americans with tanks. He's not threatening Americans. He's threatening illegal immigrants. No, I'm kidding. Jokes. I'm kidding. These people will never be happy with anything we say, anything Trump does. It's incredible. Remember, Trump, he originally wanted to throw an epic military parade after being inspired by evil dictator and democratically elected French President Emmanuel Macron's Bastille Day parade in 2017. And then you know what? The price tag came back, and it estimated that such a display would cost $92 million. And you know what? Trump was like, "Oh, that's a little expensive. That's unattainable, even for Trump." And yes, I mean, I think we can all agree $92 million for a parade is ridiculous, right? But then Mr. Art of the Deal, he decides, hey, there is still a way we can have a national celebration, a tribute to America, and that's what this is going to be, but do it in a way that won't cost the people obscene amounts of money. So he decides to bring in a few tanks and some other armored vehicles for an outdoor display on the National Mall. The Blue Angels, some other aircraft, they'll do some flyovers. Trump will give a nice speech at the Lincoln Memorial. It's going to be great. You'll see the fireworks. The fireworks display will be twice as long as it was in previous years, but they're going to do it at no additional cost thanks to a generous donation from a few fireworks companies. You know, Trump, he's always making the deals. It's going to be tremendous. So all in all, this is actually a very taken back, very measured version of what Trump had originally planned. You know, rather than spending an additional $90 million that we probably don't have on a massive display, the Parks Department will divert just $2.5 million to put on this show. It's a drop in the bucket. And still there's meltdown on the left. Oh, this is outrageous. Don Lamothe, I don't know, from the Washington Compost says July 4th is tomorrow, and we still don't know how many troops will be involved, how much it will cost. Weather concerns were raised in the Department of Defense about plans to include armor. What aren't they telling us? Buddy, calm down just a little bit. I mean, this ain't the Benghazi trial. It's a 4th of July celebration. The concern level here is so unnecessary and so disproportionate. What in the actual hell is wrong with these people? You know, they didn't want the military parade, and you know what? There won't be one. So you think they'd be happy, but of course they're not. They are miserable people who think America is unjust and indecent, and America is an abomination, and they are ashamed of this country. But rather than leave the country, right? Leave America. But rather than leaving to a place that they might like better, I don't know, I might recommend the lovely socialist paradise called Venezuela. They instead have made it their mission to make everyone else here as miserable as they are. I think it actually causes them physical anguish to realize that there are actually people here who love America. That sickens them. And I say they're the ones who are sick. And we all know the way the leftist mob operates is by going more and more extreme until things that would have been out of the question a few years ago are totally normal today. It's called the Overton window. But we cannot let them push us into accepting this self-loathing anti-patriotism as normal. The way to win this fight for the spirit of America is by denying their misery any company. And so patriotism, it should not just be reserved for the 4th of July. It should be every day. Be loud and proud every single day of the year that we live in the greatest country in the history of the world, and don't be afraid to celebrate openly that we have a president who himself is not afraid to acknowledge that.